Titan, the final dive. June 18th, 2023. The North Atlantic Ocean, approximately 372 nautical miles southeast of Cape Race, Canada. The submersible Titan, owned by OceanGate Expeditions, arrived to begin its expedition dive. On board were 5 people. Stockton Rush, 61, founder of OceanGate and pilot of the submersible. Paul-Henri Nargeolet, 73, French naval officer and Titanic expert. Hamish Harding, 58, British businessman and explorer. Shahzada Dawood, 48, Pakistani-British businessman. Suleiman Dawood, 19, son of Shahzada Dawood. The purpose of the dive was a research and tourist expedition to the wreck of the Titanic. The planned depth was about 3,800 to 4,000 meters, which was sufficient for the mission, as the Titanic wreck lies at around 3,750 meters. The estimated duration of the mission was about 8 hours, including descent, exploration, and ascent. The Titan began its dive at 9:48 a.m. At a depth of approximately 2,274 meters, a message was received from the sub. All good here. However, about 1 hour and 45 minutes after the start of the dive, at a depth of around 3,400 meters, communication with the submersible was lost. The support vessel MV, Polar Prince, waited for a signal and surfacing, but there was no response. A search and rescue operation began almost immediately, involving the U.S. Coast Guard, the Royal Canadian Navy, and the French research vessel l'Atalante. The search used aircraft that conducted radar and sonar scanning of the ocean's surface. Unmanned underwater vehicles and deep-sea sonar systems were also deployed. The search area covered more than 20,000 square kilometers. For several days, rescuers detected underwater noises resembling banging sounds, but they were later determined to be unrelated to the Titan. On June 22, 2023, the 5th day of the operation, the deep-sea robot ROV, launched from the Canadian vessel Horizon Arctic, discovered debris from the Titan on the ocean floor. The wreckage was located approximately 500 meters from the bow of the Titanic. The discovery confirmed a catastrophic hull implosion at a depth of about 3,800 meters. All 5 people on board died instantly. After the debris was found, the search operation was concluded and transitioned into a formal investigation. The deaths of all 5 passengers drew wide international attention. Public focus centered on the engineering flaws of the Titan, the lack of independent certification, the use of experimental materials, and violations of safety protocols. Authorities in the United States and Canada launched investigations into OceanGate's operations. The company subsequently suspended all activities. Johnson's Sea Link tragedy. June 17, 1973. The southeastern coast of the United States, 15 miles southeast of Key West, Florida. The submersible Johnson's Sea Link began a dive for a scientific research mission to study reef structures around the wreck of the USS Fred T. Barry. On board were 4 men: Archibald Menzies, pilot; Robert P. Meek, ichthyologist and scientific observer; Edwin Clayton Link, former Navy diver, son of the submersible's designer; Albert Dennison Stover, experienced professional diver. The planned dive depth was about 300 feet. The expected mission duration was several hours. After beginning the descent, the submersible reached its operating depth and approached the wreck site of the USS Fred T. Barry. At approximately 9:45 a.m., the Johnson Sea Link became entangled in a steel cable among the wreckage. The submersible was trapped and unable to surface. A distress signal was transmitted from on board. The U.S. Navy received the signal and dispatched the submarine rescue ship USS Tringa from Key West. During the wait for rescue, the life support system went beyond safe limits due to a failure in the carbon dioxide scrubber. Menzies removed his shirt, poured the CO2 absorbent Barolime from its canister into it, and held it in front of the air conditioning fans in an attempt to reduce CO2 levels in the pilot compartment. The crew of the support vessel's Sea Diver calculated that CO2 levels could be kept within safe limits for about 42 hours in the pilot section and 61 hours in the diver compartment. However, the calculations did not take into account that at low temperatures, the efficiency of the absorbent would decrease. As a result, CO2 concentration in the diver compartment began to rise rapidly. The rescue vessel, USS Tringa, arrived at the scene around 4:15 p.m. By the evening of June 17th, the temperature inside the aluminum diver compartment had dropped to 45 degrees Fahrenheit. By 10 p.m., Link and Stover, located in that compartment, began breathing from air masks. 2 rescue divers attempted to reach the submersible, but were forced to turn back when the hull of the Berry blocked their path. At 1:12 a.m. on June 18th, Menzies reported to the surface that Link and Stover were experiencing convulsions. Contact with them was lost shortly afterward. In the afternoon of June 18th, the commercial salvage vessel A.B. Wood II, equipped with an underwater television camera, arrived at the site. The camera helped locate the Sea Link, and a grappling hook was attached to the hull, allowing the submersible to be lifted to the surface. The Sea Link surfaced at 4:53 p.m. on June 18th. Menzies and Meek were immediately extracted and transferred to a decompression chamber aboard the Tringa. However, the diver compartment still contained high internal pressure, and any attempt to open it could have been fatal. Link and Stover were visible through the portholes but showed no signs of life. The compartment was ventilated with a helium-oxygen mixture and sprayed with hot water in an attempt to raise its temperature. By the morning of June 19th, doctors confirmed that Link and Stover had died from carbon dioxide poisoning. Following the incident, the U.S. Coast Guard conducted an investigation and concluded that the accident resulted from a combination of pilot error, entanglement with wreck debris, design features, and deficiencies in the emergency release system. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones. See you soon. Subscribe, leave a like, and share your thoughts in the comments. It means a lot to us.